Welcome to the NABJ Sports Task Force presentation of the 2021 Sam Lacy Pioneer Awards presented by Major League Baseball. Tonight's honorees include our Journalist of the Year, Ralph Cooper, has covered some of the greatest athletes of this generation as part of a Hall of Fame career that spans 5 decades. David Lattin was the starting center for the Texas Western team, which captured the 1966 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship, the first with an all-black starting five. The 1985 Yates football team in Texas was so dominant while producing several college and pro players that even 30-plus years later, they are still regarded as one of the greatest high school football teams ever in the frenzied football state of Texas. And our last recipient is Warren Moon, a star for the then Houston Oilers, who became the first black quarterback elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And now your hosts for the evening, Ray Richardson and Kelsey Nelson.
Good evening. Welcome to the 2021 NABJ Sports Task Force Sam Lacy Pioneer Awards. I'm Ray Richardson of the Sports Task Force and your co-host for this year's event. The Sam Lacy Pioneer Awards is brought to you by Major League Baseball. MLB has sponsored our Pioneer Awards since 2010. On behalf of NABJ, we thank MLB for their continued support of what has become a signature event at NABJ's annual convention. Our Pioneer Awards pays tribute to sports figures who have made significant achievements in their respective sports and communities. Today, we honor individuals in the Houston area who fit that criteria. Ralph Cooper, our Journalist of the Year, the 1985 Yates High School football team, David Lattin of the 1966 Texas Western Championship basketball team, and Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon. It is my pleasure to introduce our co-host for the evening. Kelsey Nicole Nelson is the digital and broadcast host for the Washington football team. They still don't have a nickname. She's the host of Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio. She's also the sideline reporter for the Big East Digital Network, and in 2020, she was named DMV Sports Media Person of the Year. Kelsey, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to the Pioneer Awards family.
Thank you so much, Ray, for that great introduction. So excited to be here for the first time. And hey, Ray, be nice to us, all right? 2022, we will get a nickname of some type of name, all right, in Washington. It's the biggest, it's the hottest ticket out there. But again, so excited to be here. And look, we're amongst just brilliant journalists tonight, and we're all embodying the spirit of Sam Lacy, the late, great Sam Lacy. So again, just excited to be here. I joined NABJ back in 2015. Never thought I'd be here on the stage, especially with an icon like you, Ray, within the Sports Task Force. But again, it's just an honor and privilege to be here tonight. We're gonna have fun. We have some great honorees. We have some scholarship recipients that we're also going to honor and some new internships. We're also talking about the future of journalism. So tonight's just going to be a great night for us all. We're really talking about Black excellence, and you can't go wrong, Ray, when you're talking about Black excellence.
Well, thank you, Kelsey. And again, welcome to the program. Welcome to the family.
Much. I appreciate it. Like NABJ family for life, right, Ray?
Amen. Hey, since 1989, the Sports Task Force has hosted the Pioneer Awards at NABJ conventions. The award is named after, you heard, Sam Lacy, a longtime Black sports journalist whose career spanned parts of 9 decades. Most of his career was at the Baltimore Afro-American, where he became a legendary columnist and sports advocate for equal rights and opportunities for Black athletes. Lacy's journalism legacy includes his work as an editor and TV and radio personality. He did it all. Lacy was the first Black member of the Baseball Writers Association of America, and in 1998, he was inducted into the Writers and Broadcasters Wing of Baseball's Hall of Fame. Some of our past honorees bearing Lacy's name include John Thompson, Earl Monroe, Gale Sayers, Dave Winfield, Jerry Colangelo, Doc Rivers, Elgin Baylor, Joe Frazier, Spencer Haywood, Eddie Robinson, and many others. And now, Kelsey will begin the celebration of our 2021 class with our Journalist of the Year.
Yeah, so excited to get to our Journalist of the Year. But before we get there, I do have a quick programmatic announcement to all of the audience. We do want to flag, we know you all will have lots of great questions for all of tonight's great honorees, but we would like to ask if you could save all your questions for the end. And that's not to say we don't want you to interact with us in the chat box. Please put your comments in there. Look, rep where you're from, especially Houston, since we have a lot of people representing tonight. But again, please save your questions for the end. We have time allotted. And our great honorees, some of them have agreed to stay on and answer your questions live during this program. So again, we're in for such a fantastic program. And now, as Ray said, it's now time for the awards part of tonight. It's what brought us here. And we are so excited to start with our Journalist of the Year, who is none other than Ralph Cooper. And before I get to Ralph Cooper's great introduction, I do want to give you all a quick snippet into his life with this quick video.
Hello, this is Ralph Cooper. You're listening to Sports Wrap here on KCOH.
I think it was Coach Ashbury and his coaching staff. They've been doing a great job getting their team ready for the season, and you saw it this afternoon in this great win.
If you hang around and you work hard, you're going to have things to talk about. Well, you're going to have interviews and situations in life where you can share with people because of your experiences.
The fact that you've tolerated such horrible football and the fact that you still continue to ride around town with the flags on your vehicles, the Texans jackets.
Thank you. And we'll be back in a moment.
Such a great video on Ralph Cooper, our 2021 Journalist of the Year. And now I want to give you all just a quick glimpse into who he is. Ralph Cooper is one of Houston's longtime on-air personalities and sports radio legends. The Houston native and Worthing High School graduate is currently the sports director at KCOH 1230 AM radio. He got into the radio business at the legendary KYOK Radio, where Rick Roberts, who was at the time KYOK's program director, took him under his wings and mentored him. In 1984, Cooper moved to his new home at KCOH, where he is today, and where he has been a primary staple ever since, with a huge dedicated following. Ralph Cooper's list of accomplishments is pretty long and lengthy, but guess what? We're going to honor him tonight, so we're going to go through them. The veteran broadcasting legend whose career began back in 1969 as a reporter for the Houston Forward Times newspaper, covering community issues, including the Harris County courts, the jails, and eventually junior high school sports. He has interviewed some of the greatest sports figures of our lifetime, including Satchel Paige, Jesse Owens, Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, and many, many countless others. Cooper is also a print journalism legend in the Houston area, having spent 30 years from 1998 to 2018 as the sports editor of The Defender, a weekly African-American publication. Even with all that he has accomplished, which includes being inducted into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame class of 2020, as well as a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Houston Association of Black Journalists, Cooper is showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon, which we are pretty excited about. He also has a daily sports wrap show on KCOH and co-hosts a sports talk show with Devon Wade and co-hosts a BNET internet show with Sania Rivera. Once again, we would like to congratulate Ralph Cooper. Ralph, congratulations once again on earning Journalist of the Year.
First, I would like to thank NABJ for making me the recipient of the Sam Lacy Pioneer Award. This, in my opinion, is the, I've picked up a lot of awards over the years. This is one that I really, really cherish, especially after meeting Sam Lacy back in 1972 in Atlanta, Georgia at the Major League Baseball All-Star game. I really didn't know who he was in person. I had read some of his stuff, and he came up and introduced himself in the press box the day before the game as we watched the players warm up and practice and for the home run derby. And to receive an award named in the name of an individual who lived to be nearly 100 years old, worked for the Chicago Defender, the Baltimore Sun newspaper, right up until the time that he passed at 99 years old, is huge for me. And then when I think about some of the things that he did in regards to the wars that he was in regards to integrating Major League Baseball, that was even bigger to me because I was one of those guys, I think, that picked up the baton that he was proud of in regards to carrying the battle on after Jackie Robinson. The first time I ever went to a Cotton Bowl game, I was in the Cotton Bowl in the press box, and a guy came up behind me, and I really had to kind of brace myself. He asked me or told me, hey, there's the trash can over there, and which indicated that I wasn't supposed to be in there as a reporter. And later on, that same individual apologized to me and became a good friend. Sports to me, being a first in many cases, has been a way where I was like a Jackie Robinson in the state of Texas and in other areas where I went to different venues in regards to introducing people who didn't really know who black people were, and that some of us came. We weren't just looking for a press pass. We didn't just want to eat in the press lounge. We wanted to work, and we wanted to cover the stories. And I think that's one of the things that I tried to get over to people over the years. This photo changed my life. This is 1974, Africa, Zaire, Kinshasa, Zaire, the Congo. This gentleman is Sam Skinner. Sam Skinner was out of San Francisco. Back then, we didn't have ESPN, and we didn't have NABJ like we have it now. But black guys from different parts of the country would get together. Howie Evans in New York, Brad Pye out in Los Angeles. We would all get together. So now we're in Africa, and this is Muhammad Ali after one of his workouts there before he fought George Foreman. That's me. When I went to Africa, I didn't have any hair. I was there for about 9 weeks because they postponed the fight. Now you can see how my hair grew out. When I got back, I even grew it out further. I got an afro. So this was huge because many of the Africans and the reporters from all over the world had never seen black guys from the United States covering events like this. And one of the things I remember about Ali is, I see you brothers made it. Don't forget to pay your bills. and it was a life-changing experience for a young Ralph Cooper. I was offered jobs in other places. I was offered jobs at the Sheraton Broadcasting Network. I was offered a job over in Atlanta. But I grew up in Houston, and I wanted to stay at home. Plus, I had other things. I was a friend of George Foreman. So everywhere that George went, Ralph could go if he wanted to go. So to keep that relationship, I decided, and having family here, I decided the best thing to do was to stay here. And I did it at the Forward Times, the Houston Defender, the Informer newspaper, even did some stringer work for the Houston Post. I did Jet Magazine, even Muhammad Speaks. So I did just about everything I wanted to do. You've touched people. Some of them now have ended up at ESPN. They're all over. They're in various places, and they started with you by doing 2 or 3 minutes within your program. And see, the other thing I wanted to do, I was influenced by Anita Martini, Tom Franklin, and all those type people. They had talk shows, right? Nobody black had a talk show. So my thing was, if I can get a talk show, I would really be, well, I can be on every day. And everybody told me that was impossible. Even Texas Monthly Magazine came down here and they did a piece on talk shows. They included me in it. They said, do you think black people will call talk shows? I said, yes, if you give them a moment, they'll take the program over. I said, but my prediction came true. I said, but not only are they going to call me, they're going to call other people. They're going to start calling other people. They're out there. It's like, I say, it's like it's a baby that hasn't been born. And they're going to be triplets and quadruplets and everything else. And the rest is history. That was back in 1971. And now you can't listen to a talk show in Houston without hearing what? The brothers. So I take a little credit for that. Sam Lacy Pioneer Award, NABJ. This is the biggest thing that ever happened to Ralph. I mean, to be named after someone who was on the front, who didn't have maybe the resources. And when I say resources, didn't have some of the outlets that I ended up having. He didn't have all the newspapers or the radio stations or the TV stations. And like maybe I didn't have social media, which is there here now. But to win, to be nominated and to be given this award is it's on another level. I can't explain it. It's just on another type of level. And it also, the thing that keeps me going now, I'm 70-something years old. The thing that keeps me in my mind is in the 20s because of social media. I've never seen anything like it. It keeps you, I mean, I don't want to be around, no disrespect to people my age, I don't want to be around you if you don't have anything going on. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be around younger people like you all and younger who are doing things. It keeps you alive, believe me. It's a blessing to be able to even just stand up here and talk like this. And again, thanks to NABJ, the National NABJ, for making Ralph Cooper, Houston, Texas, named after Ralph Cooper, New York City, the amateur hour at the Apollo Theater back in the day. Just a city boy in the South getting an award like this is huge. Thank you.
Congratulations once again to Ralph Cooper for being our Journalist of the Year. And now for our next honoree, please direct your attention to your screen for a preview of our next honoree, David Big Daddy D. Lattin, a member of Texas Western's men's basketball team in 1966.
Jarris on the left to Riley. He reverses, sends one up. 9 minutes to go. Texas Western ahead, 11. Wide open under. The Cagers come outside on the left side. Hill wide open under the basket, and he almost blew it. Though Western got it. 3-1 fast break on Cron. Outside, it's here's Hill working his way, lays it up, no good. Put up again, no good. Now Latin.
On the morning of March 16, 1966, Texas Western's men's basketball coach Don Haskins asked all 7 black players on the team to meet him in David Lattin's hotel room. The team was in College Park, Maryland to play the University of Kentucky later that night for the NCAA championship. Lattin was one of the 7 black players on the team, wondering why Haskins had assembled them for this private meeting. When the other 6 players got to the room, Haskins had some shocking news for them. Haskins told the group that they would be the only players in his rotation against Kentucky that night, the nation's #1 team and a heavy favorite to win the title. The white players on the Texas Western roster were not going to play that night, which means 5 black players will be starting against Kentucky's all-white lineup, and the other 2 would come off the bench. It also meant that for the first time in the history of NCAA Division I basketball, 5 black players would be in the starting lineup for a national championship game. Lattin, a 6'7" center from Houston, was one of those starters, along with his roommate Bobby Joe Hill and Austin Artis, Willie Worsley, and Willie Cager. When Haskins told the 7 players his game plan, Lattin and the other players had no idea they were about to make history. They also had no idea of the lasting impact of Haskins' bold decision. One of the reasons we do our Sports Task Force Pioneer Awards every year is to celebrate history, and David Lattin has a rightful place in history. Lattin played a pivotal role in Texas Western's 72-65 win over Kentucky to win the national title. One of the starters on that Kentucky team was a guy named Pat Riley. Lattin had 16 points, 9 rebounds, and no turnovers in 32 minutes. He also made all 6 of his free throw attempts. Lattin's performance that night goes far beyond his stat line. He and his 6 teammates, including reserves Neville Shedd and Harry Flournoy, changed the culture and landscape of college basketball as we know it today. Today, Texas Western is known as UTEP, the University of Texas El Paso. Segregation in college basketball is now a distant memory. The performance by Lattin and his teammates against Kentucky prompted major schools in the South and other parts of the country to recruit black players. The diversity and opportunities we see today in college basketball started in 1966 with Lattin and his black teammates. Texas Western's story was told in a 2006 Disney movie called Glory Road. An actor by the name of Shin A.S. Kerr played Lattin's role in the movie. A year later, Lattin wrote a book to give more insight to Texas Western's championship team. The book is called Slam Dunk to Glory and is available on Amazon. Also in 2007, Lattin was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame and the Texas Black Sports Hall of Fame. Lattin started Worthing High School in Houston. There's a movement underway right now to get the school to name their gym after Lattin. We hope that name change becomes a reality. On behalf of the NABJ Sports Task Force and Major League Baseball, we are proud to present a 2021 Pioneer Award to David Big Daddy D. Lattin.
Thanks for having me. It's always great to be a part of something that's good like this is. As you know, I grew up in the 60s and fortunate enough to play on a state championship basketball team and a national championship team as well. We defeated the almighty Kentucky in 1966 to win an NCAA championship. And I'm so excited to be a part of that as well. And the reason why that game was so important is because it was the first time 5 African Americans started in the NCAA championship game and defeated all mighty Kentucky, and they were all Caucasian and we were all black. First time that ever happened. And that made it a big deal, a huge deal. I'm so proud to be a part of that. You cannot even imagine how proud I am to be a part of that. And so they made a movie called Glory Road, and I wrote a book called Slam Dunk to Glory. And hopefully, if you didn't get a chance to see the movie, hopefully everyone will get a chance to see that. That was a great movie. And to read my book, Slam Dunk to Glory, as well. And so that game proved that African Americans could play basketball and play it well. I told Pat Riley the other day at a function, I said, you know, I can take Pat Riley was serious about winning that game. And everybody wanted to say, why was he so serious? Well, because he played half the game. Pat Riley played half the game. He shot 22 times. He shot more times than my whole team that it had. And I could go on and tell you how proud we were and what happened to our city of El Paso when we got back. Everybody was excited, you know. In fact, they still are. They got upset because another team won the national championship in Texas recently, I think they were. But that was funny as well. So people that liked it because we had been champions for so long, only champions from the state of Texas for so long. So that was quite different. Immediately following that game, most of the major universities that didn't have any black athletes started to recruit black athletes. And they understood the significance of having black athletes on there. Be a part of the program. They got so carried away until they not only did they invite the athletes to play at these major schools, they invited the other schools. They opened the doors for the other students as well. So they opened the doors for everybody, not just the athletes. They had to open the doors, and they opened the doors for the athletes. They had to invite the other kids in as well. So I feel proud about that, and I get excited when I think about it. And then when you read my book, you understand it even better. I had a couple of visits to the White House. I visited two presidents, President Ford and President Bush. And President Ford we were in the Oval Office with the Harlem Globetrotters. I was with the Globetrotters at the time. And the president was walking along, he and his wife shaking everybody's hand in the Oval Office. And he stopped at me and said, you know what, I remember you, David Latine. You were in a game that beat Kentucky in 1966. I was stunned. I couldn't believe he said that he actually remembered who I was. So I was excited about that as well. And the other time we were in the White House was with the team. They honored the team, and we had dinner in the stadium. That was great. And that was just to honor my team. I thought that was great. You know, it's always exciting to be a part of something good. And this is something good. So that's always important. I don't want to get too far in depth, but to be a part of something good, and most people go through life and never have the opportunity to be a part of something good. So this is good.
Congratulations once again to David Lattin. As Ray said, on behalf of the NABJ Sports Task Force, we're now going to take a quick turn in our program to honor the future of journalism. We have 6 amazing student journalists that have gotten a combination of internships and scholarships. Of course, we want to give them a big round of applause. And I'm telling you all, when you all hear all of the great stuff that they're doing, you'll see just how great the future of journalism is. All right, so starting off, we are proud to award our Larry Whiteside Scholarship winner, Erica LaFlora. She's currently a student at Florida State University. Go Seminoles.
And our next scholarship winner is our 2021 ESPN Stuart Scott Internship winner, Jillian Carroll of the University of Southern California, otherwise known as USC.
Coming up next are our 2021 NABJ interns who are headed to the ringer. First off, we have Abubakar Kamara of Boston University and Alicia Wimberly of Georgia State University.
And our 2021 front office sports interns are Callie Lawson Freeman of San Francisco State and Darian Carter of Arizona State. Congratulations to all of our scholarship winners.
Yes, a special congrats to all of our scholarship winners. And if you would like to find out more information about these scholarships or tell students that you know, please visit nabjonline.org. Again, nabjonline.org for more information on our scholarships. And now we're going to continue back with the awards part of the presentation, where I am now excited to introduce the 1985 Yates football team. We're now going to go to a quick video presentation, so please direct your attention back on screen for this very quick snippet video.
And for Permian, Harrington looking to throw. He is in trouble. He's sacked at the 35-yard line. Never got a chance to set up. Larry Gill. First down, Yates. Here's the option play. Pitch back to Johnny Bailey. And Bailey gets outside. Up the sidelines and out of bounds at the 30. The clock will move again. 1:07 to go in the quarter. Price, lots of time. Goes to the end zone. Does he go Alexander? Great catch, touchdown by the Rangy.
You guys just got a wonderful introduction to the 1985 Yates football team. Now, a couple of years ago, I had the honor and privilege of traveling down to Texas to help tell the story of Texas football as a reporter in the Legends of Texas football documentary presented by Fox Sports Southwest. I also just got back from traveling to Texas, and let me be the first to tell you, you can't talk about Texas football without talking about this legendary team that forever changed Texas football. They are regarded by many Texans as the best high school football team in the entire football frenzied state. The 1985 Yates football team stood out for several reasons, and this is why. They finished the season undefeated, yes, undefeated in Texas, in a dominant fashion with a 30-7 beatdown against renowned state power Odessa Permian, which was the worst blowout of a large school in the state in 27 years. Yates went on to go 16-0 to become Houston ISD's first champion in football. Yates scored a record 659 points that season, led by All-State running back Johnny Bailey, one of the best prep players to ever come out of the state of Texas. Even with him injured for 4 games in the regular season, Yates put up 452 points before the playoffs even began. Quarterback Charlie Price threw for 25 touchdowns in 1985. His best receiver was Quentin Smith, who also played some time in the NFL. Of this 1985 team, more than half of the team seniors went on to play college football. And according to a Houston Chronicle article, at least 2/3 of them went on to earn their degree, with at least 5 playing in the National Football League. Just how good was this team? Well, we were loaded, said Maurice Hobson, a junior on that team, that he told the Houston Chronicle. And again, just going off of how good they were, Santana Dawson was a junior on the 1985 Yates football team. He came off the bench that season. He would go on to enjoy a decade playing in the National Football League, which included being named the league's Defensive Rookie of the Year back in 1992. And now, one quick programming note before they accept their award. Here's a little portion of the documentary about this legendary Texas football team.
Yates program builds champions. That was our thing. We build champions. You can come to Yates and be a champion, and you can go somewhere else and just play football. Now, what do you want to do?
Of all the great 5A football teams of the 1980s, one of the greatest decades in Texas high school football history, stands a school with a unique and historic background. and whose 1985 football season was arguably the greatest in Texas high school history. The 1985 Houston Jack Yates Lions.
It's a 14-yard run by Johnny Bailey.
It's amazing that it's still being talked about. It's an amazing accomplishment when, you know, people are still saying you guys were that team, or you guys were the best team in the state of Texas. You know, when you do something good, you brag about it. When you do something great, people brag about it for you. You don't have to say anything. And so we don't say anything about it. We talk amongst ourselves.
We don't boast, we don't brag. The results speak for themselves. We never brought up this argument. We never said this. This is what you guys do. But of course, we're honored to be mentioned among some of the greats because, you know, in Third Ward, you know, we prideful. We know we have a proud tradition. We were built on winning. And again, you know, what we did, it was special. And to do it against who we did it against kind of makes the story a lot better too.
The Odessa Permian football program is considered one of the nation's elite programs. The school and the team have become a global brand due to the multimedia success generated by the book Friday Night Lights.
I've told people, you know, like, hey, that movie Friday Night Lights, you know, hey, you know, that's the team we beat, you know, but they don't want to talk about our story. You know, that movie is about 2 years after us. Growing up in the area, you know, Yates was the school that everybody hated, but they always would come to the games, you know, so, you know, they want to see us play, and they knew we would win. You know, later in life, I've met people from other schools, and they, oh yeah, I was at that Yates game in the Astrodome. You know, everybody would come to the Dome to watch a Yates game, and they were always there supporting, you know, hating us, rooting against us, but then cheering for us as well.
It speaks for itself. We don't brag, but we know. I always tell people that ask me, oh, you're from Jack Yates from Third Ward. And it is Third Ward, not Uptown, Third Ward. It speaks for itself. We did something that no one else will ever be able to do. Special group of young men that I had an opportunity to fellowship with and go on that journey. And it wasn't just us, it was also the entire faculty and student body that we were associated with. No one would ever be able to repeat what we did.
I tell kids all the time, don't leave a reputation, leave a legacy. And we left the legacy at Yates from 1985 that they're still talking about. Every December after the state championship game, how does this team, who just won, compare to the 85 Yates team?
They had this saying at Yates, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but you kill flies with sledgehammers, you know, and that would happen, you know, and we wouldn't be changing plays. We would consistently, like, remember the Titans, just like Novocaine, give it time, it'll start working. I just think the commitment that we had to one another, the consistency we had with lifting, exercising, being disciplined, on and off the field. And we just grew up together.
At the time, we weren't really thinking about what we really had done. 16-0 record, offensively, broke so many different records. Defensively, no one could run on us. And over the years, you would hear about the Odessas of the world here in the state of Texas. Really didn't talk about Jack Yates Senior High coming from the city of Houston, and to get to this place where they're now showing a little bit of honor to what we did in the past, for us to have an opportunity to still be around to see it. It's a great feeling.
We had our College Football Hall of Fame running back Johnny Bailey, who missed 5 games, but you'd never know it based on the scores that we put up, based on the yardage that we put up. You never know that guy missed 5 games. So just imagine what we would have done number-wise with him. But when you got 4 running backs that get to close to 1,000 yards, that's pretty special. Quarterback with over 2,500 yards, 3 receivers that were over 800 yards. We were loaded. But we all go back to our fondest memory of losing to Madison the year before 1984. We lose in front of 40,000 people on Saturday night. And on Monday, coaches are looking for us. We're on the field practicing. They're amazed because we're out there practicing because we didn't want that feeling anymore. And that feeling was 21-19. And that was the second time we lost to them in 1 year. And we said, you know what, that's not going to happen again. And it didn't. So when someone says, okay, you guys are this and you guys are that, we know what we did. But for other people to talk about it nationally is pretty phenomenal and amazing to us.
Thank you, NABJ. Congratulations again to an outstanding high school football team, Yates High School, the 1985 team. Before we introduce our next guest, our next honoree, please direct your attention to the screen to see some highlights of one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks ever, Warren Moon.
I'm involved in a game where the object of that game is to get this oblong ball from one end of the field to the other end of the field, and I'm the guy that's responsible for getting that done.
Moon's first throw. Intercepted from almost right into the arms of number 81.
We got 10 coming in. Nice play fake by Moon. And he goes across the middle to Coleman. And Coleman breaks free.
Down in a hurry. Grounded for Gaylord get in the end zone. There's the block into the end zone. Wound up with a yard pickup. 2nd and 9. Moon sending everybody out. Throwing. Completes to Jake Reed. Touchdown. When Warren Moon gets time, he's as dangerous as any quarterback in football.
If you need a role model for determination and perseverance, take some time to read up on Warren Moon. This record-setting quarterback was not offered a Division I scholarship when he played for Hamilton High School in LA. He had to go to a junior college before the University of Washington decided to take a chance on him. In Moon's final season at Washington, he shared Pac-8 Conference Player of the Year honors with Stanford quarterback Guy Benjamin, yet no NFL team selected him in the 1978 draft. Moon had to play in the Canadian Football League for 6 years before NFL teams woke up. Remember what I said about determination and perseverance. Today, Warren Moon is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. After all the disappointments and all the doubters, Moon continued to believe in himself and his abilities. His Hall of Fame induction in 2006 was more than a testament to his career. It was also a much-needed and long overdue milestone. Moon is the first and only black quarterback to be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There are sure to be others when their careers are over. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, maybe Cam Newton, maybe Doug Williams, the first black quarterback to play in a Super Bowl and win it. But Moon will always be regarded as the pioneer who helped change negative perceptions about black quarterbacks. Moon's longevity validates his stature as a pioneer. 23 years in pro football. While the NFL slept on his talents, Moon led the Edmonton Eskimos to 5 Grey Cup titles in the 6 years he played in Canada. When he retired in 2000, after 17 seasons in the NFL, he ranked 3rd on the NFL's all-time list in passing yardage and 4th in touchdown passes. It was Moon's 10-year career with the Houston Oilers where he really established himself among the NFL's elite quarterbacks. 7 Pro Bowls, 7 playoff appearances, 33,685 passing yards, 196 touchdowns, and a 57.9 completion percentage. In 1990 and 1991, Moon led the NFL in passing yardage and completions. His 33 touchdown passes in 1990 was tops in the league, and he had 4 seasons with the Oilers where he threw for more than 4,000 yards. 21 years after retiring, Moon is still ranked among the NFL's top 15 all-time quarterbacks in passing yardage, touchdown passes, and completions. Not only is Moon's legacy firmly established, but he played a major role in showing the NFL that black quarterbacks really do have the skill level and the aptitude to play this game on the pro level and win. Moon remains heavily involved in community activities in Houston, Seattle, and LA. His Crescent Moon Foundation, which he started during his career, annually gives $5,000 scholarships to underprivileged high school students for their college education. Moon also has teamed with former quarterbacks Andre Ware and Vince Young to run the Brothers in Arms Foundation, an organization designed to help athletes raised by single moms provide academic scholarships to high school students. Even after his career has long been over, Moon is still leading people to victories. On behalf of the NABJ Sports Task Force and Major League Baseball, we are honored to present a 2021 Pioneer Award to the great Warren Moon.
Well, thank you very much, Ray. I really appreciate it. First of all, I want to thank all the other award winners, because whenever you can be recognized for anything you do in journalism or in life in general, it's always a great honor. So congratulations to all the other award winners. But there's no question I am extremely excited about this award. Sam Lacy was a guy that I met many, many years ago, probably 30 years ago in Baltimore, a great sports writer, but also a great character, but also off the record would tell me that he was rooting for me because he knew how important it was for my success at this position to be able to open the doors for other African-American quarterbacks. So Sam was not only a great sports writer, but he was a fan of mine, and that's something I really appreciate. Also, I want to thank the National Association of Black Journalists, their Sports Task Force, for honoring me with this award. Whenever you can be honored by your own people, that's something that is even more special, because I've received a lot of awards over the years, but whenever it's pointed towards you, towards your own group of people, being Black people, that's something that really makes me make this award feel more special. So I really appreciate the National Association of Black Journalists for that honor that you're bestowing upon me. My career started a long time ago, and it wasn't a very easy road. I knew when I first started playing quarterback at a very young age that it was going to be difficult, because there wasn't a lot of quarterbacks that looked like me. So I knew that the journey would be hard. I knew I'd have a lot of obstacles to overcome, and there were. But I also had a lot of guys in front of me who had kind of helped pave the way, like a James Harris or a Doug Williams, guys like Marlon Briscoe, who was the first African-American quarterback to start in the game. Those guys kind of gave me the motivation to keep striving forward, to say that I could play this position one day. And even though there were many obstacles, whether it was having to go to junior college because nobody would give me a major college offer out of high school, or whether it was going to Canada because nobody would draft me out of the NFL, I was able to persevere and become a Hall of Fame quarterback in the National Football League, as well as being a Hall of Famer in the Canadian Football League, something that no other player has been able to do. So I'm also extremely grateful to the Houston Oilers organization and Bud Adams for giving me my first opportunity to play professional football in the United States in the NFL. The city of Houston was very, very good to me. They supported me on the field, as well as they supported my endeavors off the field, my foundation, and the things I tried to do in that community. So I want to give a big thanks and a big shout out to the city of Houston, because I played there for 10 years, the bulk of my career. My family still lives there to this day. My young kids, who were basically born and raised there, all decided to stay in Houston and are a big part of that community. And I visit there frequently. So thanks to the city of Houston and all the fans that I have there in Houston. Proud of my career, but I'm even more proud of the impact that I've been able to make in communities around the country that I've lived in or been a part of. I have a foundation called the Crescent Moon Foundation that supplies scholarships to underprivileged high school kids. I've been doing that since 1989. We also recently started a foundation a couple of years ago, Andre Ware and also Vince Young. We are quarterbacks that come from single family homes, and we have a history of playing in the city of Houston or being from Houston. And we have a scholarship program there as well that's been very successful. So those are some of the things that I've been able to do off the field because of my notoriety on the football field. So I've been extremely blessed throughout my career. I really appreciate everything I've been able to achieve, but I also know I didn't do it by myself. A lot of great teammates, a lot of great support, a lot of great family and love. And those are the reasons why I've been able to do the things that I've been able to do, along with my hard work and dedication. So again, thanks to the National Association of Black Journalists, the Sports Task Force, for bestowing this honor upon me. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the program. Thank you very much.
Congratulations once again to Warren Moon. Look, when you're talking great quarterbacks, you can't have that conversation without referencing and mentioning none other than Warren Moon. Warren, once again, congratulations from NABJ and MLB. All right, so now we're going to switch things over to Q&A, but before we get to them, I again want to congratulate our 6 intern and scholarship winners on behalf of the entire NABJ Sports Task Force, including our board and all of tonight's honorees. So yes, please give them a virtual hand. And please, in NABJ fashion, remember that right after tonight's award ceremony, it will be time to celebrate. Yes, you all know we had to bring the fun. So immediately following tonight's awards, we'll hope you join us for our annual NABJ Scholarship Jam. Again, right after this awards, don't go anywhere because it will be our NABJ Scholarship Jam. Thanks again to all of the recipients of tonight's Pioneer Awards for joining us. That'll do it for the 2021 Sam Lacy Pioneer Awards. We can't wait to see you all in Las Vegas, fingers crossed, hopefully in person next year. And we all thank you tonight for coming to join us virtually. All right, now it's time for the NABJ STF Scholarship Jam. We've got a DJ and lots of things on deck, so don't miss it. And we hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.